Good morning, afternoon, wherever you are. Welcome to Ricochet Community Call number 8. Let's get started. So 3 things to talk about today. First off, some collaborations we have lined up with a couple of stablecoin projects and idle finance. We're going to review the progress on those and just kind of the outlook there. We're going to talk about app improvements. So over the past couple of weeks, there's been a lot of contributors that have added stuff to our app and it's looking a lot better. So we're going to review some of those changes and improvements. And then we're also going to talk about just some current Rex numbers. Where are the stream markets at in terms of total value streaming, what the treasury is looking like, what the price of RIC is looking like, how much RIC has been distributed to contributors, and stuff like that. And then we'll open up the floor to general Q&A. So that's that. All right, so collaborations. First off, we have Jarvis Network. Jarvis reached out to us. Their founder, Pascal, is a really committed dude, and he is working on this protocol that basically lets you use J fiat currencies. So they're like synthetic stablecoins that basically mirror different currencies like the pound, the euro, etc. And you can use that basically to do anything in on Polygon. And so what we're basically going to contribute there is the ability to use those stable coins pretty much to stream invest into different crypto assets, Bitcoin, Matic, etc. And we're also going to build out the ability for these J fiat currencies to be used for J euro in particular to be used for yield aggregation through their Beefy vault for one of their liquidity pairings. So that'll be interesting. And then we're probably going to be starting that in Q1. The other protocol here is Angle Protocol. They're a pretty major decentralized, over-collateralized stablecoin project. So they offer AG Euro. That's currently their only kind of stablecoin offering. They're looking to expand to the yen, etc., other stablecoins, just like how Jarvis had. And they mentioned in a Medium article that they are looking to pair with us, to collaborate with us to offer real-time investing into different crypto assets with AG Euro. And yeah, lastly, idle finance. This is currently in progress. Over the next couple of weeks, you can expect to see a USDC to idle stream market, Rex market. They're called Rex markets now. And a idle wheat Rex LP market. The input token is still to be decided whether that's going to be USDC or wheat, but that'll be out there. What's cool about this is it's going to be a good collaboration here in that the idle dApp will be providing us $500 worth of idle to distribute to streamers in these markets over the course of the month. We'll also match that with RIC rewards, so you'll earn RIC while you're at it as well. So that's going to be really cool. And yeah, this is all going to come before we offer real-time investing into idle tokens. So idle tokens are basically yield-bearing tokens. So you can basically swap your wheat into idle wheat, and you'll start earning interest. You'll start earning yield on your ETH through that. And so basically, we'll work on a product that lets you stream invest your wheat into just idle wheat, and so you can kind of start earning yield in real time through that. And the other thing here is like idle, like we mentioned in the last community call, they have a grants program out there, and so by putting forth this real-time investing into idle tokens, we'll be able to acquire a bunch of grant funds to incentivize and further develop this. So that's going to be really cool, and that's on the horizon. That's what I've got for collaborations. Mike, do you have anything you'd add here?
Yeah, the first one, the order of operations, I think I'd add, which is we're going to do the idle finance first, just because it's most closely in line with what we already have set up. Because idle wheat is on Sushi Swap, so we're going to do those. The idle tokens, setting up idle tokens will probably wait until we have a version 2, just because that kind of takes advantage of the idea of having a strategy and being able to write like a custom adapter for new yield bearing things. And similarly with Jarvis, we haven't integrated with Curve, which is where I think they're planning on having liquidity mining rewards. So yeah, I mean, the first thing we're going to do this week is add list idle. So we'll list idle USDC, and then we'll also list idle WETH liquidity pool tokens on SushiSwap. And then after that, we'll probably those will use the version 1 contracts. And then after we have that up, we'll probably just pause for a little bit and work on getting the version 2 contract set up. Most of the version 2 contract, like the new parts are written. It's just a matter of porting over some of the old projects or some of the old code into the new structure, which uses like inheritance and makes things a little bit more composable. So, yeah, that's all I have.
Cool. All right. We can move on to talking about the improvements to our dApp over the last couple of weeks. Really exciting stuff. But first off, and the coolest is we now have a ramp network on ramp. So you can click this button, fund wallet, and you will be able to basically fund your wallet with your fiat currency from your bank account using the ramp network plugin interface. So I'll just pull it up on the app right now to show you guys what it looks like. It's not going to work for me because I'm in the US, and so it's just not available here yet. But this is what it looks like. You simply hit USDC, you can proceed. You'll be able to connect your bank account, buy some, Matic right from the interface, and it'll show up in your Polygon wallet directly. So that's awesome because it lets basically users, you can just turn to the person next to you, say, hey, why don't you try out Ricochet? And those users can very quickly, move funds from their bank account onto Polygon and then start dollar cost averaging with Ricochet. So that's really powerful stuff, and kind of expands our outreach as a product. That's that. The other thing here is we also have the Ricochet rewards incentive display. So with these fire icons, you can see how much Ricochet you're earning. Sorry, how much Rick token you're earning based off of your stream into the stream market. So for instance, here the total subsidy is 14,000 Rick per month, and I'm streaming in 2,000. And so you can see that I'm getting 30% of that, like around 30%. So my monthly subsidy is like around 4,000, and that's displayed for all these markets. You can see how much you can earn on each one. They're currently 14,000 for each one. We're also working on adding in the end date for these rewards. So that's coming out soon. Shout out Joe, who's been working hard on all this stuff. He's the man behind all this really cool this display edition. So good stuff there. And the last part, and one of the most important, user UX like additions here, is the ability to see when your stream is going to end. So you can see, based off of how much DAI is in your wallet, your stream is going to run out my stream is going to run out today. However, that's not the case because I am streaming the other way. So, but according to your stream rate and your balance, it calculates the date at which your stream is going to run out, which is a valuable piece of information to prevent you from running into liquidation based off of that 4-hour rule. That 4-hour stream deposit that you put down at the start of the stream. You can learn more about that in the docs, but this is a good addition that keeps users on their toes for making sure that their balance doesn't hit zero. So that's that. All right, so some coming improvements. First off, we currently have all our products on one page. So we have a Rex Markets, a Rex LP, and a Rex Launchpad, all there kind of just in separate rows on that one invest page. We're going to look to split that out across pages. So we have a separate page for Launchpads, Rex Markets, and Rex Launchpads. Makes it a better kind of segmented experience, quicker to find what you're looking for. The next part is an improved wallet page. So kind of like how Superfluid has those different rows for different tokens on our currency tab where, you kind of hit the plus, you can deposit money as you can upgrade your tokens, and minus to downgrade them, or you can just see like, you can compare your ERC20 balance to your super token balance just very quickly, just off those rows. We're kind of like looking to build something like that out on our wallet tab, and also added a view of distribution, so you can see, every hour how much of this token or that token you're getting through the instant distributions from the different Rex markets you're invested in, and also just a countdown to see like, okay, I'm going to be getting my next distribution in say 37 minutes based off of the keeper kind of interval, which has been shortening. I think, Mike, we added like it in another keeper, so now we're down to like 20 minutes per distribution for some of these Rex markets.
Yeah.
Which is really cool.
And if anyone wants to join as a keeper, there is a reward for it. We do stream the keepers Rick tokens. And if we get a fourth person, we'll go to 15 minutes. And if we get a fifth person, you get the idea. It just gets faster and faster.
It's faster. And the advantage of that is because when you're dollar cost averaging, you're essentially looking for the average price across the interval at which you're investing. And so if you're investing like weekly, well, there's a lot of fluctuation that's happening between there. And so you're not really capturing a true average price. The quicker you're investing, the quicker you're capturing that average price. And not only that, you're also just getting your target funds faster, and you're able to mobilize them in real time. So,
and that's the real alpha. That's the real alpha. Dollar cost averaging, you can take a look at like academic research, and it's not actually the most effective strategy. Something like portfolio rebalancing is actually a more effective strategy. But with this, it's like you get paid, the money's invested right away. So you get that alpha of having your money invested immediately, which if you see like compounding, that will be a lot, you'll get some alpha out of it. So.
Yep. And yeah, this is something that I did put in the roadmap, but not totally sure if we'll be able to complete it by 2021, but I'm putting it out there. It's the idea of like being able to get push notifications that your stream is right now. So basically that would kind of like look like here. Just like a little like like alarm icon or something. You click on it and you can subscribe to a notification that says, that will warn you on your phone saying, hey, your stream balance is running low, you may want to top up. So that's an idea there. I do know a person who has worked on push notifications for Superfluid to warn you on your low balances. So I think that integration, when it comes time, is going to be a pretty smooth kind of development process. All right. And Mike, I know you did put together the rest of the 2021 kind of short-term road plan. Is there anything that we're missing here?
No, but we put a lot of like the remaining things that we're going to do in 2021 as far as like significant improvements and not just like small enhancements. Those are all in GitHub issues. And we're using a GitHub organization project. Joel, I don't know, could you pull that up? Could you go to the Ricochet GitHub organization page where we have like all our projects listed? Yeah, so then click on Ricochet Exchange, not this page. Click Ricochet Exchange, and then there should be like in the organization. Yeah, see where it says Projects 1? Click on that one, Projects 1 at the top row. No. Projects.
Oh, there.
Yeah. And then version 2.0 here. Yeah, so this is the full list as people volunteer to do these. So you can see like number 3, Joshua's like set up a trade page, right? So obviously there's like a smart contract component to that, and then like a front end component to that. Yeah, so this is pretty much it. You see, I'm started on one of them, and I think one of them is done at the bottom. Number 12 is finished. They go purple when they're finished. So yeah, this is pretty much it. We're gonna try to use this to like manage stuff. There's also, in addition to this that's not listed, there's just a lot of like miscellaneous small issues I'm not gonna really have those show up here just because I think those will kind of get handled as they're ready. There's also a mix of front end and back end issues. So you can actually like filter down just to like front end or back end issues. But this is my first time using GitHub projects, but I kind of like it. It doesn't have all of the like things that I would like, but it's simple enough. And I don't really like adding like a bunch of management for no reason. So this, I mean, we have to add some management to keep track of this, but this is like a good lightweight way to sort of get started on that.
Yep.
We also added some
Also-
people as GitHub contributors. So we've added like Joshua, George, Joe, someone name I'm forgetting right now. And so they can like self-assign issues and close issues. So it'll get a little easier.
Cool.
Yeah, very cool.
Awesome. All right. Nice. Now to review Ricochet by the numbers over the last couple of weeks. Well, as of now. So since I checked last night, the total value streaming is at 272,000 per month in volume. Annualized, it's like what, like I think around 3 million. So really cool stuff there. I think what's cool is saying like originally like over the last month our most of the total value streaming in our Rex markets was like in the 4 figures. Now a lot of them are breaching the 5 figures. It seems that people are kind of responding to seeing the incentives and like that the fire emoji, the display that Joe added. And so that's been incentivizing people to start streaming, earning some Rick. And I think overall we're just gaining popularity as well. So more people are exposed to us and starting to use us and as a real-time investing tool, which is cool. And yeah, the Rick price is now at 89 cents. It looks like a whale, so to speak, has started streaming like 20K, which kind of like doubled the price of Rick token. And so that's happening. Yeah, so I think like before that, the price was like around 40 cents. So that's cool. It's been going up as expected. And for the bounty program, Joe has earned 11.7K worth of Rick token. He did complete a white hat hack. He like kind of discovered a vulnerability in the Rex bank. Mike, if you want to kind of just talk about that, just a little debrief on what went down there.
Yeah, Rex, the bank, there was in the contract, there was a way that you could actually take out more collateral than you were entitled to. So Joe had like stumbled upon this and he immediately did the right thing, which was just white hacked the funds. And then he sent them back to the treasury. So that was really nice, really helpful. And yeah, it was a good behavior we should reward. People who come in and white hack your project, you don't want to like skimp on those rewards. So I think I forget what the reward was, but it was pretty high for doing that. So, and hopefully that sets a precedent. People know that if they find a bug, it's going to be better if they, don't just be a black hat about it. Because we'll find you if you're a black hat about it and you steal significant money, we'll find you. We'll know what jurisdiction you're in and we'll come find you and sue you.
So yeah, Joe earned 5K for that, which is cool.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, and this is how we're tracking it. That's actually a good sheet. This is public probably.
Yeah, this is public. Anyone can come and see it.
Yeah.
So people submit the form. I'll just pull up the form as well.
Yeah.
You fill out this form once you complete a contribution. Type the bounty you'd like. You completely just describe it, and then the reward that's expected for it, and then your wallet address, and then we collect responses. So we got 45 different bounties completed, different payouts. So that's really neat, and they're all listed out here in this sheet. And we also keep a pivot table that shows kind of like a leaderboard. As you can see, Joe is
nice.
up there nearly 12K. JT, who's here, Nicole, shout out, second place. George, third, and so on. We have in total 15 different contributors, 14, I think
Well,
15.
wait,
So,
JT is in there twice, though. He has one at the
oh, is
bottom.
he?
We should just adjust that at some point,
Oh,
but
okay, make that 14 different.
Might
Yeah,
have, might have
good
biffed it
enough.
on the Google form.
You're still ranked number 2, which is fine. That's good. It's not like it bumps you to number 1 or anything. But yeah, we have to put some more analytics bounties. Now that I think I need to make an analytics repository, and we need to pay you a bounty just to consolidate everything that you've done analytics wise. Because there's a lot. There's a lot of things floating around. I know that Sunny will use like some of the tools to see the streamers. I used to use them, but I haven't done that lately. But
yeah, one of the next initiatives is make like a Ricochet balance sheet, just see how much or like an income statement, like how much we're making each month, how much we're spending each month on contributors, and just the current state of the treasury and yeah, our accounts pretty much. So yeah, that's valuable. If we had like a repository for that, that would be beneficial. And yeah, I kind of because so JC, Josh, you worked on
Either were.
you worked on the Rex tax project. That was a bounty we put out there. Would you mind just speaking to it? Because I feel like we haven't really spoken about it much, and there hasn't been much discussion about it in the Discord.
Yeah. So I guess the backstory on this is I think it was a tweet that popped up, about like how do you do taxes for real time DCA,
what it really said was this is dangerous. And I was like, no, there's nothing dangerous about what we're doing here. If you think it's dangerous, like it shouldn't be. The tax software will eventually get it. But anyway, sorry to interrupt.
No, you're good. You're good. Yeah. So it actually turned out being like a pretty straightforward thing. For anybody that's like kept up, and has seen this flow state thing, it's a very similar process. So basically, the idea is that you're virtualizing these streams into a transfer, right? So if let's say I stream 4,000 DAI over a period, right, and then I receive 1 Ether in exchange for that, right? Technically I've been transferring that DAI per second, or more technically per block, right? But effectively, I've given 4,000 DAI and received 1 Ether in return. So we can kind of virtualize that as a transfer. So basically what this tax software does, or what this aggregation software does, is it basically virtualizes all of these streams into transfers, and then it basically says, all right, at let's say 30-minute intervals, for example, or whatever the interval is right now. It varies too, right? Because if somebody starts streaming, then it updates as well. But basically, any period of time, we consider that a transfer, and it is pretty ridiculous over the top, right? Like you're going to have thousands of these transfers if you've been streaming long enough. But the point is, like, this is still something that tax software should be able to handle. Now the current implementation, I have like a lot of the logic is already built into some JavaScript stuff. And right now, all it's really doing is using Node.js. It writes a CSV file and a JSON file. But because of the way the function is exported, really, like you could just take that function and put it in anything, right? So if you wanted to create a UI, maybe a tab on like the Ricochet page, right? Like you could have this thing basically use your address, grabs that data, and then just visualizes it for you. Maybe throw an HTML table there or something like that. But that's the gist of that software bounty, or that tax software bounty.
And that doubles up on another bounty, which is we just want to be able to show people their profit loss. So like it kills 2 birds with 1 stone having this done. Now we just need to integrate it, which is always a bit of a challenge. So
right, which by the way, also like on this too. So like right now, basically every single exchange on Ricochet is like one of the assets is a stable coin, right? So that's how we ended up getting the price feed for now, just as a way to like not have to sit here and ping CoinGecko for 10,000 queries. So if this does change in the future, right? Like maybe if you do like a WBTC to WETH kind of thing, maybe it'll get a little bit weird, but so there are things that could be improved, in the future on it, but whatever happens, I mean, you guys know I'll be around, so I'll be more than happy to make some changes and edits in the future there.
Awesome. Yeah, it would get complicated if we start streaming like more than just stable coins, like even DAI. I mean, USDC you can always assume is worth $1. Who's off mute right now making all that noise? All right. But yeah, I lost my train of thought. You get the idea. What's next?
Yeah, cool stuff. I think that tax, that P&L kind of stuff could show up in our wallet tab in the future. So good stuff
Right.
there. Yeah, so lastly, let's talk about the treasury. Mike, I'm just gonna turn it over to you because you did a lot of kind of like
Yeah, sure. I mean, it
work into
wasn't a
this.
lot. Actually, at this point, superfluid tokens now show up on dBank. So we can really just use, I might change the link in the docs too. We can really just use dBank as the best place to see what's in the treasury. So this is just sort of a breakdown in non-native tokens, so non-RIC tokens. We have about 39,000 in assets there. You could sort of see the breakdown. 13,000 or about 14,000 is in the make or die liquidity pool. That's actually up a good amount too, because we originally put in about 11, a little over 11,000. So it's appreciated up to 13.8. So that was a pretty nice investment there. And then the super tokens, we have about 13, almost 13,000. Most of the super tokens we have are US dollar coins, just because we're doing the RIC launchpad. And then of the funds that we've received from the RIC launchpad, 12,500 has been borrowed from the bank. So we basically have, some people have liability to repay those, and that's earning 12% APY, which is really great if you think about it. I mean, I think Sunny and I discussed, what else could we be doing with the funds? Hiring part-time people would be great if we want to deal with payroll. Probably not a good idea. Yield farming with them seemed like a really good idea. And so we definitely could, just deposit the funds and yield farm, but that doesn't really add any value to the RIC ecosystem. So instead, we're basically yield farming with them. But we're sort of, creating this like mutual relationship with most of the contributors who use the bank, where they can essentially take their RIC tokens, borrow against them, borrow up to 60% of the value against their tokens, and get US dollar coins under the condition that they're willing to pay this, what works out to 1% interest per month. So yeah, that's pretty much how it works out. And then of course, if we do like a illiquid market cap measurement, there's 10 million tokens. The treasury has a little over 8 million. They're worth 0.89 cents. So there's $7 million in RIC tokens. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just cool seeing that balance in terms of RIC. Obviously, that's heavily influenced by this person who showed up and started streaming 20,000 into the launch pad. But for the most part, it's like around like I'd say like normalized without that, it's like around like 3.9 million, which is good to see. And yes, as evidenced by these large bounties, we're not being frugal with it. We're trying to get that out there. We're trying to get RIC into people's hands so they can contribute, they can propose, they can vote, and they can kind of feel like they're a part of this. And yeah, it's at no cost to us. I mean, we made these RIC tokens, they have a value and people are willing to work for them. And so we're going to mobilize them for the betterment of our app. So that's the idea here.
Yeah, I mean, as long as the launchpad continues to run, which it will run for like another 6 months, as long as that continues to bring in US dollar coins, we can continue to put that in the bank and contributors can continue to not sell. So no reason to sell your RIC if you need any cash, which will be huge for early contributors. That's always a big thing, which is most people are probably still working they need the cash. So they would sell their tokens early for 89 cents or whatever. If there was an exchange, there isn't really, but and then they miss out on all the future upside that they could be getting. So by offering the RIC Bank, basically people can get liquidity and not have to sell, right? So everyone who got tokens when it was 25 cents and borrowed against it when it's 25 cents, well, now you can borrow more because it's 89 cents now. So that's just sort of the fundamental thing about RICs, like economies, the little RIC economy, or I'll just call it a RIC game, the Ricochet game. You're like, get some RIC, you can get some more RIC, or you can pay your rent. What I did.
All right. So that concludes the presentation part of community call number 8. This is great. We're going to open up the floor to general Q&A now.
And also, did we get any Q&A on the forums that we circulate?
Oh
Is
yeah,
it are
I
people
saw a
starting
couple
from-
things. Let's pull it up. Hold on.
Yeah, you probably have to switch to the shit one.
No, it's not working. I just open up the drive. I'm gonna stop sharing.
Whatever. Maybe we'll just you stop sharing and find it. I'll ask people from the floor. Anyone here have questions? David, Joe, Jose, Jetman, Soliloquy, Martin. No? We must have done a really good job with the presentation if nobody has any questions.
All right.
Did you figure out the forum? Did
Yeah,
anyone
so
respond?
we got 3 questions. A couple of them are
Great.
really good. So the first one we answered in the first part of this call, which is any partnerships on the horizon. So my friend who asked this question, I'll just redirect you to that point of the call. Check that out. We're partnered with Jarvis, Angle, and Vital, and we have had previous collaborations with MakerDAO, and we are working closely with Superfluid and Teller, obviously, because they are the backbone of our products. The next question is when SCX, when CEX, so when centralized exchange.
I don't
And,
know. Why would we need a centralized exchange?
Right, yeah, we're kind of replacing that, where you don't have to go to Coinbase and do that, like that auto deposit thing. You can just bridge your funds over and just start real-time
Well, I
investing
think
with
that
us.
question. I think that question's more about listings. I think they're at.
Oh.
They're at when is it going to get listed on a centralized exchange?
Right.
We don't have any control over that. First of all, and it just has to happen. Like we don't really have any control over that. If an exchange wanted to list us, they can go ahead and list it. But yeah, I mean, we're not like going around finding centralized exchange. Because the only centralized exchange, if we went around soliciting them, the only ones that would actually take us are ones that would charge us a fee, and they're probably not the exchanges we want to be listed on anyway. So I mean, we should probably all just like wait until Coinbase lists us.
Yeah.
I guess 18. I would give it 18 months. 18 months from now, it'll be listed on Coinbase,
That's a solid.
and that's just based on how long it took, like the teller team to get listed. I think they took about 18 months. So.
Yep. Last question here is, can you list the possible application scenarios of this project as much as possible? So that's a great suggestion. We do have them listed out in our docs. However, honestly, they could be a lot better. So yeah, yesterday I was working on improving our dollar cost averaging kind of explanation there. We'll turn it over to the next part. There is like leveraging Ricochet with your salaries. And then all the other kind of applications we've been discussing, we'll start working on delineating them in the docs. And I may actually turn over some of this to contributors as kind of like a media bounty to say, hey, you can write about how this revolutionizes this facet of investing, and we'll put that use case in our docs and kind of like a tab there. So we'll do a better job of that in the coming month. So just a heads up there.
Yeah, and it would actually be good Medium content if we could get some of the Medium
Right.
contributors or blog contributors
Yes, we
to
also
just like
have a Medium
write about a
blog.
use case.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, you forgot to add that in the update. We did write a Medium blog.
Oh yeah.
We created Medium and we posted 2 articles. The first article was the summary of the community call, which we're going to continue to do. And then the second one was just like a copy of the white paper. So I basically just cherry picked out the parts of the white paper that would be good in a Medium article.
Yeah. So we've got a digestible kind of write up on the white paper, and then Crypto Bunker, he'll be going through our community calls, watching the recordings, and making a nice kind of summary that we can publish on our Medium. And we'll start putting that out on Twitter I think Twitter gives you like the option to like put like recent publications and stuff, like kind of like pinned to the top. So you guys may see that soon. So that's
Great. Martin, is that all the questions from the forum? Martin
that's
asked
all
a
the
question.
questions.
He
we
says,
have
what's
Martin's question.
going on with the Launchpad? Any news on this timeline? I mean, we don't really have much going on with it. I think I forget which project team thought it would be cool to list on the Launchpad or do something with the Launchpad.
Well,
Yeah, but I forget like what the plan was. So, I mean, we don't really have anyone interested in using it yet, really. So yeah, I mean, it seems like people still tend to just like launch their projects with like a massive internal liquidity mining program. Like the idea of doing what we're doing here, where we stream a small amount. I mean, remember, we're only streaming 2.5% of the tokens. And to get like the income coming in from that, I don't know if teams are going to be into it right away, right? Because basically it's, the alternative, you could do one of two things. You launch a token and you sell it for a bunch of cash, or you do our approach, which still ends up, both approaches end up in the same end state, which is you have a lot of cash. The only problem is ours takes a lot longer to do it. And I don't necessarily think that's a problem, actually. I think that's actually a really good thing, because for us, we've sort of been seeing like, okay, here's how much US dollar coin is coming in. So, that essentially is a good statistic, which we can run a business around. Like if we know that on a monthly basis, we're getting 20 grand from US dollar coins selling RIC tokens, that's great. You can operate a business that way. Show me another business that makes 20 grand, right? So I think, I don't think we really, I don't even know if we necessarily need to really pursue getting people onto the Launchpad even. I think we should more pursue like getting projects into, some of the Rex, like LP tokens, those kinds of streaming, like streaming into more sophisticated products on DeFi. The Launchpad, I think people, I don't know, there's the problem with that product is it's a push product, which is we have to push it out. Like nobody's actively, I think, seeking, there aren't many people actively seeking it. And also it requires a lot of education, customer education, because nobody's going to be really familiar with like what it is. But yeah, I could see projects like using it in the future. I think Polygon is still, native Polygon tokens are still, I think, not that popular. I think there are other projects doing native Polygon tokens, but most of the projects I run into have done a launch on mainnet ETH, and they just bridge their tokens to Polygon, which is not what we did. We just deployed a token right on Polygon. And I guess presumably we could bridge it to ETH. But so, yeah, I just don't know if there's like really a lot of activity for the Launchpad. We do need to do some work around it, just because like it is a product offering that would be used by, like DAOs and project teams, which could actually be a lot more like valuable than just all the retail investors or savers. But yeah, I mean, that's sort of where that stands. I mean, we're still demoing it. We demo the Ricochet launch every day with our current fundraising thing, and I don't know if that looks good, but if you take a look at, I mean, we went from 10,000 to now like closer to 30,000. So yeah, I mean, looking at it, it's actually a huge success in my opinion. And yeah, so that's it.
Yeah, I think that's an important point you made there. That the Launchpad has been more of a push product and a pull product. Like the Rex markets and the Rex LP, that's been attracting people to come to us and partner and offer their tokens for these different, products. But the Rex Launchpad has been something that we kind of like, that people haven't really been coming to us for, and has been something that we kind of have had to like say like, hey, you guys can use this, as opposed to people coming to us and being like, hey, we could use this. So yeah, with it.
Right. And the bank, the other thing is, so they didn't ask about this, but I think we have to just do streaming lending. I don't know how that really works, but like nobody, as far as I know, has done it. So I feel like we just need to do it and claim that accolade. So my thought was like, you stream your interest payment, you can borrow whatever you want, but you have to set up a stream for servicing your debt. And if the stream closes, then your collateral starts getting streamed out to the, because you lock up your collateral in the contract and then you stream pay your interest. And then you can borrow against that. But if you stop your stream interest payments, that starts a stream of your collateral out the door. So it's like, it's not a liquidation. It's like a real-time liquidation, I guess.
Yeah.
So it's a lot more if you think about it, it's a lot more forgiving, because in the scenario where someone dumps the market, you can't lose all your collateral. So if the market just wicks down for like a minute, it's not like somebody can come trigger a liquidation on you, right? You only get penalized while it's lower. And then presumably as the price goes lower, the keepers can like update the outflow of your collateral, right? So it'll check the Oracle and it'll know that like, okay, like in order to service the interest, you have to take this much collateral. And then presumably there is a liquidation. There has to be a liquidation point. But I think that liquidation point could be a little bit lower, than some of the other projects. So.
Yeah, we just take everything and make it real time, don't we? I think we have a few examples to work off of actually from the previous hackathon. I think the Dow Global one. I think one of them. There's a stream lending project that kind of describes what you just described. So
yeah, and it would be great. It would be great if we could do streaming interest payments, because then the interest income shows up as cash flow right away, rather than where we are now at the bank, which is we put out $12,000. Yeah, we put out like $12,000. People borrowed it, and we're going to be out those $12,000 until people repay, and they'll repay with, of course, like the interest. But we don't know when we're going to see that, because there's no term on borrowings. You just borrow forever. My intention was people would pretty much borrow forever, until like, things get listed on Coinbase or
yeah. So like at the moment, it kind of feels like reverse fundraising. Like we kind of like get the funds and we like throw them out to the contributors and they kind of like borrow forever. But like with streaming payments, that would kind of like translate to like real kind of like return in the form of interest. So that's cool. Any other questions? All right, that's 7 seconds. Thank you everyone for coming. This is a great community call. A lot of cool stuff discussed today. Looking forward to seeing you guys at the next one. And let's keep talking. Bye guys.